We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Better than beautiful.
Welcome, coming to you live from the studios of LA Talk Live in sunny Los Angeles, California. This is Alayna's Beauty Talk and more, and I'm your host, Alayna. We're here to talk about beauty and more in all its expressions every Wednesday at noon Pacific time. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. This is Alayna's Beauty Talk and more on LA Talk Live. We're more than just talk.
Searching love, I found it. Ended up with my heart and soul. About time that you know. If you just believe and see like I see, you'll know that the world is yours to own. Just follow my lead beyond material things. It's time to let you know you're better than beautiful.
It started out like a totally normal day.
I love you.
I mean, I guess I was a little sweaty and I was definitely sore. I thought I had gas. Turns out I was having a heart attack. Heart disease is the #1 killer of American women. So now I take care of myself and tell the other women in my life to do the same. Make it your mission to save your life and the lives of the women you love. Find out more from the American Heart Association at goredforwomen.org.
Hubert's Lemonade, tasty, refreshing, sweet, and tart. Happiness in a bottle. Visit Hubert's Lemonade at hubertslemonade.com. Once again, that's hubertslemonade.com. Happiness in a bottle.
Young Connection, your one-stop connection for all your graphic design and commercial printing needs. Young Connection is a full-service printing and media design company dedicated to providing the highest level of customer service and satisfaction. Young Connection provides swift response and rapid turnaround services for banners, brochures, business cards, flyers, logo design, posters, and much, much more, all at an affordable price. Young Connection, the official printing company of LA Talk Live. Give them a call at 310-491-3336. That's 310-491-3336, or visit their website at www.youngconnection.com. That's www.youngconnection.com. Young Connection Printing and Media Services, proud sponsors of LA Talk Live, where it's more than just talk.
It's paving a new way. 'Cause there's no doubting, I'm about it. No more searching, love, I found it. Ended up with my heart and soul. About time that you know. If you just believe.
Welcome back to Alayna's Beauty Talk and more. I'm really excited about this show. This time of year is, I guess I will use that word. This time of year is a transition. People, kids start back to school. You kind of start back to work, maybe, on a different schedule because you took more time off during the summer to be with your kids and your family. So we're going to be talking about back to school in a healthy way for you and your family, because this is really important to me to, at this time of the year, to start you and your family and your kids on a healthy lifestyle. Because we get really busy this time of year, and if we start now before it gets really hectic into the holidays, into Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas, we think it's really far away, but it goes really fast. And then the junk food and junk eating starts coming in. So if we can get everybody started on a healthy lifestyle through, August, well, August is almost done, through September, most of October, we got a good footing to keep the kids healthy through the year. And you, because you're going to be stressed too. So, I brought in experts for everybody today. You probably recognize Ruth Smith sitting next to me. She's become a regular. She is amazing. I never heard anybody talk about nutrition and health the way she does. She makes it so simple. I mean, I never would have made a smoothie with kale and blueberries. Now I must have one every other day.
Yay!
I definitely can see a difference in my skin and how I feel.
Yeah.
I mean, never in my wildest dreams would I have bought a bag of kale.
Oh, the power of greens. I love it. Yes, it does make you radiant from the inside out.
And I would have never known about that without you. I mean, you just make things easy to understand.
Oh,
and then
you.
She's brought in an amazing guest, so I'm going to let Ruth introduce her. But before you do that, tell a little bit about yourself.
So I'm Ruth Smith. I am a health and life strategist. I basically help all sorts of clients with their nutritional needs and with getting into a new exercise and just with healthy lifestyle behavior changes. And a lot of my clients are morbidly obese or obese and need to lose a lot of weight, have multiple chronic conditions, and they have families that care about them, and they all need to be healthy together. So this actually episode is really, really important to me because September 1st, no matter who you are, is such a great time to start making those healthy changes. It's just this really wonderful new beginning is the way I look at it. So
we're on the
fantastic.
same. Yeah, I know. It's just a really important time of the year to get healthy.
Yeah, yeah. So let me introduce you to Melody. This is Melody Crichton.
Hello, everyone.
And Melody is an amazing parenting expert who I met doing corporate work. And Melody goes into organizations and works with parents in small groups and one-on-one to make sure that, you know, these times of years that can be full of stress and anxiety go smoothly.
Absolutely.
And so health is a big part of that, journey.
It really is. And kale and blueberries are a regular part of our diet at home too. So I'm right there with you, ladies.
Oh, yay!
Yay! We're the kale and blueberry club.
Okay. Give us a little background about yourself, Melody.
Absolutely. I love working with parents because I really love kids. My heart is with kids. And so I help parents create more peace at home. And I do that by helping them multiply their loving and joyful moments together by creating more patience, cooperation, and peace at home. And I do that through working with parents, whether it's individually or whether it's in groups, whether it's parents at the school setting or parents in daycares or parents in the workplace. Wherever parents are, I am available to help them.
Wow. Yeah, because parents need help.
Yes.
What is your background? Were you a teacher? Or?
It's great to be a support to them. Absolutely. I was a school teacher for 10 years, and I saw it clearly in my very first teaching job. I was 22 telling a 40-year-old woman what to do with her angry son. Wow. And I'm like, wow, there is a lot of parent education that I'm needing to do in addition to educating their kids through the course of the school day. And so through that 10 years, I knew that as a next step, in order to reach children, the really great way to be able to do it was to be able to go to the parents directly. And so when I had my own son, I had the privilege of being able to be at home with him. And during that time at home, I was able to launch into meeting parents directly with launching out on my own.
Wow, that's great. And definitely so needed. I know that since I became a parent, almost a year ago, which is crazy to even think about, there are so many challenges that you just don't even think of that arise that, being able to go to someone who's an expert to help you to ease that, I don't want to say burden because it's not a burden at all.
No, it's such a joy. But, I had so many years of education behind even teaching in the classroom, just in college being taught and having child development and all of those kinds of classes behind me and certifications behind me. But regular parents don't. They don't have that manual, and they don't know how to relate or how to handle children in difficult situations or even just in everyday situations. And so it's totally my goal to put parents at ease and to really help them have a smooth, joyful, loving life as you're moving through it.
And healthy nutrition is a big part of that.
Yes. Yes, no, healthy nutrition is really pivotal to that, actually. They really go hand in hand, because what you're feeding not only your children but your own self really influences how you can handle some of those more stressful parenting moments. So it's certainly imperative to be able to bring in those healthy foods so that you can be really confident and feel your best from the inside out.
Yeah, and especially breakfast is really so important. And
yeah,
I remember growing up, I never wanted to eat breakfast. It wasn't until until I was older.
Yeah,
I mean, even out of college, I mean, I just never ate breakfast. I'm like, I don't want to eat in the morning.
And a lot of times you don't even really think you feel like you're hungry until you get started. And then once you get started, that's when you go for the quick grab. And that is certainly not the way to go. And so, you know, starting the day with the blueberries and the other berries and the other fruits and vegetables on your oatmeal.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say.
It's just such a great way that we regularly start our day. And of course, what I'm eating, I am also feeding my son. I'm not a short order cook. I'm not feeding myself one thing and him something else.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good strategy.
And if he doesn't care for something, you know, I'll give him a smaller amount of that and then, you know, bulk up on mangoes because he likes those instead. But I do need you to try, even if you're not so keen on peaches this morning. I do want you to, you know, at least have a taste for them. And so I do offer other alternatives for him too. You know, it's a part of the great everything that we have available to us, fruit and vegetable wise.
Well, and the interesting thing is too, you know, if someone doesn't have breakfast in the morning, then and they don't feel hungry, and they don't really realize the effect that it has on them throughout the rest of the day. So if someone doesn't have breakfast, then it may be they get to work or they get to school and they're not as productive, or they're not able to learn or take in as much information, and because basically their brain's not functioning properly. And then that carries over to lunch, and all of a sudden at lunchtime they may be ravenous. So then it's about, wow, what can I eat? And it is about those quick carbs that can satiate the need for the energy, but maybe not get the long sustaining value of some of the whole foods that are so nutrient dense.
Okay, this thought just came in, and I want to throw it out to Melody.
Yeah.
Because your son is in school.
Right.
What about school lunches? Do you pack him his lunches every day? Or do you have school lunches? I mean, what's your thought on that?
I certainly do a variety, because he loves school lunches. It's pizza. What kids don't? And it's pizza, chicken nuggets, tacos, and it goes through pretty much that rotation and a couple others every week, month after month. And so he loves it. So I don't mind him doing it once a week. Do I want him to do it every day? No. I loved it when he was in preschool and we were able to have his food warmed up. So I would pack his lunch, and then they were able to warm up his dinner from the night before for lunch. That was fantastic. You know, that's not the case when you're in elementary school. They can't be warming up everybody's food for them. But I do tend to pack for him through the course of the day. And I'm always looking for new ideas, because it really can get repetitive, and I want to be able to offer a lot of variety for him when I pack, so that it is inviting for him.
Okay, so where do you go to find new and fun things to make for lunch?
Well, I love how, if I can plug Whole Foods, they have a free cooking class for kids up in El Segundo every other Saturday. And that's where we learned a lot of new foods and a lot of new ideas. He and I would go to the cooking class, and they would just put out a plethora for us as to new ideas. And that would stimulate me to come up with other ideas for home and for packing lunch too.
Oh, I never knew that Whole Foods did that. Do all
That's
Whole
a really
Foods?
good, they don't all do it,
Okay.
but I certainly try to make my voice heard at different Whole Foods. Do you have a kids club program? Are you interested in doing one? We have done one. It's fantastic. I really recommend it. And I've even thought of going to the local schools and you're just trying to make some kind of connection there with the schools and with after-school cooking programs for kids, because I think that would be a great after-school type program.
Yeah, and I know that they do exist out there. I think it's just a matter of being able to get the schools to open their doors to those programs. And some of the programs that exist actually include the parents too. So the parents can kind of be in the background and watch as their kids participate in the cooking class. And I think that having that multiple family dynamic really then is able to broaden that conversation when they get home and say, oh, I had this today. What other ways can we prepare this particular food? You know, so I think that's a really great thing that Whole Foods does for sure.
Oh, absolutely. I've been so amazed, and I'm really glad that we were able to take part in it.
Yeah, there's a couple of other, there's one website called Weelicious, and Weelicious was started by a woman who at this moment, I can't remember her name, but she actually has not packed the same lunch for her kids any day that her kids have been in school, and I think one is in 5th or 6th grade now. So if you can imagine going through school and having a different lunch every single day up until that point, it's pretty amazing to come up and be that creative with different foods.
I grew up wanting to wear a different outfit every day of the year.
Me too.
Yeah, different mentality.
Yeah.
Right?
But when you pack lunch for your son, I mean, do you work from home, Melody, or do you go out? I mean, do you pack a lunch for you, or do you pack, food and snacks for you for the day when you leave?
We certainly are an on-the-go family, and so we certainly do have a lot of food with us on the go, because having a 10-year-old, it has started already. He always wants to eat, and he's always ready for some type of snack. So we do often have food with us, yes.
And what are some of his favorites? You mentioned mangoes earlier.
Yes, he does like mangoes. Well, that kale, here it comes again. I love to massage it with some olive oil, and I do put some light garlic salt on it, and it is fantastic for the course of the day. And my boy loves it as well. So that's certainly a staple. Every day we have kale in our diet.
That's great. And see, I'm not the only one. I mentioned massaging kale on another show.
You did.
And I think everyone thought I was crazy.
No, I hear people talking about, but because I'm going through all this dental work, I couldn't chew kale. So everything I do salad-wise goes in the blender.
Got it.
So all my salads are blended.
Well,
and they taste really good. I don't think I'm going to stop.
Well, it's funny. I mean, I did that for a friend of mine who had to have his jaw wired shut, and we blended everything for him for a couple of months. So it all goes in the same place.
Yeah, and I remember when I was talking to you to figure out when we were going to meet, I hear the baby in the background. He's just laughing, and I said, "What is he doing?" And she goes, "Oh, he's eating mango."
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he's a big eater too.
We certainly have yogurt through the course of the day as well, and some other on-the-go things too.
So you pack a cooler then if you're going to take
do.
it. Yeah, I do too.
So do you keep a cooler in the car with you?
We have a lot of ice packs.
A lot of ice packs. Yeah, that's really good, really smart. I think a lot of people end up relying on going through drive-through fast food places for snacks or for food because of, it's cheaper or it's more convenient. But honestly, if you're able to save yourself time and already have that stuff prepared and be proactive, to have it in your car ready to go, some cut up celery, some yogurt, a little thing of peanut butter, whatever it may be, it makes it that much easier to get through the day.
And my boy loves apples, and depending on the size of the apples, he could eat up to 3 a day. He just loves them. So that's really convenient then for me as well. Although I'd like him to venture out and try some others along the way too. But he fortunately is really drawn to that. And I think that your body really tells you what you need through the course of the day. I think your body really speaks to you.
Now, what about...
It's time for protein. It's time for dairy.
Yep.
So what about sodas? How do you keep your kids away from soda? What do you tell parents about sodas? Because They're everywhere.
They really are. You know, I grew up in a family where we only had soda like once a week, and I never really craved it more than that. So already I had already established that type of pattern that soda is certainly a luxury, not an everyday common staple. And so it's often served at birthday parties and at outings and stuff. And of course, what kid doesn't love soda? But you really have to, let your child know, hey, there is going to be soda there. There probably will be other fruit drinks. Yes, that you may have one today, or you just had one yesterday. I'm going to have you hold back today, although it might really look tempting. I can't have you have that today. And you talk about it and prepare them in advance, so that they already know, hey, here's the deal. Yes, it's going to be okay today, or no, it's not going to be for you.
But you
today.
don't keep it in the house.
I don't. It's just not what we typically do anyway. And I've learned long ago that if you buy it, you're going to eat it.
Mm-hmm.
Those Oreos, they're going to be eaten. The soda is going to call your name. So I just tend not to even bring those things into the home.
I mean, that's how I do it now, but I didn't grow up that way. Things are a lot different now.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely grew up with soda in the house, and I remember that we would go into the grocery store, and my mom would buy a big, handfuls of candy bars to have as treats in the house too. And so we got our sugar, fix in, and it was never anything that was completely off limits. So now it's like I'm learning to balance that, and I've told my clients this too. It's not about complete restriction,
right?
But it's about knowing when it's okay for you,
right?
And so just being very uber aware of your body and how your body is working and functioning. And maybe if you're coming down with something or not feeling quite as well, then holding off on the sugar is probably the best thing for you. So
we love sweets, and so we certainly do have sweets through the course of the day, but it's that one sweet that we have during the day. Mm-hmm. It's not like we're having a sweet at breakfast and at lunch and at dinner. You have to use moderation, and you have to be careful about that, because with that also comes the sugar, and then that also affects your teeth and your overall body. My boy runs around and plays a lot, but there are a lot of kids who aren't doing all that physical activity, and so that combination really isn't the best for anybody. Plus, their behavior really can change when they are stimulated by a lot of sugar.
It does really make a difference.
The words that they say, the actions that they do, the choices that they make, it all goes hand in hand.
Yeah. I mean, and I see that with adults too. Mm-hmm. So how do you speak to kids about making those right choices, or the effects that it might have on their body?
And at what age do you start?
Oh, I think that you start as soon as you can, because in the home there's always a place where you can have your go-to food, but your go-to food has to be directed by the parent. Your go-to food could be a slice of cheese or some crackers, or your fruit area, whatever it is that you've designated, but you're the one in charge, parents, of what that go-to place looks like. If you're going to have it be your processed foods, or your quick bologna, or whatever else parents are using, then that's what kids are going to tend to go toward. So you really have to be the director in that.
Wow, I never really thought about it that way. So do you have like a little corner in your pantry or your food area?
Well, my boy still asks to get into the refrigerator, and he pretty much tells me what it is that he's looking for, or I'll ask, what is it that you're wanting right now? And, he'll give me an idea of what it is he's wanting. But kids who are free to go into all of the cupboards in the refrigerator, they're not going to be making necessarily the right choices. So you really have to guide them and set limits on, hey, you want to get into the refrigerator? Okay, what is it that you're going for? Well, I want a soda. Well, a soda is something that's in the refrigerator. You can make another choice. How about this or this? But it won't be the soda, although it's in there. So you certainly want to acknowledge, hey, you're going in for a soda, but that isn't the choice you want to have. Here's a couple other choices. Which one of those choices do you want instead? So
really acknowledging what they are wanting, but then saying,
You
hey,
have to direct them
yeah,
otherwise.
giving them the choices.
And allowing them to make the choices themselves from there. That gives them ownership, and then that also gives them direction on what healthy choices really are.
So you really need to teach them.
And it's done through everyday conversation and everyday relationship. Absolutely. It's a lot about directing them in the way that you want them to go and in the choices that you want them to make to be a healthy person.
And it's really interesting to me, this conversation, because with a lot of the parents and the moms that I've met, their food issues are coming down, you know, and they're like, wow, how do I want to handle this with my child? You know, and one of the things I've told them is now is the perfect time for them to actually make the changes themselves that they want to make and have that fresh start too, so that they can mutually have this relationship, good relationship, healthy relationship with food and as a family.
Oh, absolutely. Because you know, when you're faced with the choices at the grocery store, and they're finishing at the counter, and all of the candy bars are calling, you certainly don't have to prohibit yourself from getting a candy bar. But if you've done it Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, you've already had that candy bar. Not today. We've got in our basket what we need, and that's it.
And what about ice cream and things like that?
Oh, yeah, we're ice cream lovers.
I mean, yeah, but you eat it in moderation.
Absolutely. Again, that goes with our one sweets a day. Typically, ours is later in the day, either in the afternoon or after dinner is typically when we'll have our one sweet. But yeah, that's the one sweet that we have per day.
That's a good way to, I mean, that's pretty much how I eat now, but it took me years. We did not grow up knowing anything about nutrition. There's so much available now if people take the time. And that's why I'm hoping this show kind of inspires families and the people listening to do some, you know, poking around, do some research, go to Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, or whatever.
Even the 99-cent store.
Oh, I'm always at the 99. I mean,
organic produce these days.
Yeah, they do there. I'm there almost every other day, and it's gotten so busy.
Yeah.
But it's great to, and I do, when I'm in line, watch what people are buying. And I see them starting to buy healthier foods, and I get so excited.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, then I do see people, you know, when I'm at other buying like cases and cases of Coca-Cola. And it's fine to have some, you know, sodas in your house, but not every day. You know, and I don't know how to teach people that.
My boy and I have also ventured to some of the cultural grocery stores too. So we'll go to a Mexican grocery store, and of course they'll offer some different types of produce that another grocery store like a Ralph's or a Vaughn's might have. The other week we were in a Chinese grocery mart, and of course they had a lot of seafood there, and so it was interesting to see all of the varieties that are available just right in our neighborhoods. So that can also inspire new ideas and creativity too.
But how do you get parents to understand not to give their children so much soda? Is there any way you can teach, or is that just on them?
Well, you have to start small with goals yourself so that everybody will be successful.
Yeah.
And so if you're wanting to go from, a case a week down from there, you have to start small, and maybe out of that case you take one or two and you just throw them out, or pour them out. Okay, from that case, this is what we'll have this week, and then build from there, because you want to be successful and you're going to need to make a lifestyle change, and that doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah, I think it's important. That goes right along with the baby steps that I generally talk about. It's taking that one small little piece that you can handle and you can be successful with, and then making that your jumping point, and then slowly cutting back little by little from there on. So,
you hear our music? Yay. Okay, wow, we've been talking for a half hour already.
Oh,
that
goes
went
quick.
fast. Yeah.
Amazing.
All right, it is amazing. Okay, we are going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to continue this conversation about, back to school in a healthy way for you and your family, because it is so important. September 1st is right around the corner. Some people are already back to school. So when we come back, Ruth, Melody, and I will keep talking about this. So stay tuned, everybody. This is Alayna's Beauty Talk and more on LA Talk Live. We're more than just talk.
Thank you for tuning into LA Talk Live and the Talk Live Broadcast Network, original reality radio, handcrafted for your listening and viewing pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk. Stay tuned.
Hi, this is Starlet Quarles, and I'm inviting you to join us every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. for a new show right here on LA Talk Live, The Dialogue, Real Talk, Real People. Join us as we discuss the topics that are relevant to today's generational leaders. So don't forget to tune in to The Dialogue, Real Talk, Real People, every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. right here on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, and now Stitcher Radio. Or watch and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hello world, how you living? This is D. Brex, your host of the all-new rap project here on LA Talk Live. That's latalklive.com, or you can find me on iTunes Radio in the R&B section. That's the rap project every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's Wednesdays at 7 p.m. West Coast time, so don't be late. On the Rap Project, I will be playing the very best of rap and hip-hop that goes beyond the ordinary. So connect with me, your host, D. Brax, the rap connoisseur, on the Rap Project every Wednesday at 7, right here on latalklive.com, where we are more than just talk.
Hi, this is Tika Lark Fleming inviting you to join me every Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for MP Chronicle Presents The Black Girl Show. Join us as we discuss politics, pop culture, and the other side of Black LA. So don't forget to tune in to MP Chronicle Presents The Black Girl Show every Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, exclusively on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B or watch us on Ustream.tv. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hey y'all, I'm Shaquem Williams, and I'm the host of The Shock Factor here on LA Talk Live. We broadcast to the world every Friday at 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Live music, live performances. We're just live. Chef Momo, Erica Ash, and once again, your host, Shaquem Williams. Thank you. So come join us every Friday here at LA Talk Live, the world-leading broadcasting internet radio station. The Shock Factor.
Hello, I'm Joel Ramirez.
And I'm Lolita Robinson Coppage, and welcome to Joy in My House
on latalklive.com. Inspirational radio
with a touch of recovery.
A reality show where nothing is left unsaid.
And no one is insignificant who says it.
Exclusively on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B or watch us on Ustream TV.
Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
The heart is a blue.
Welcome back to Alayna's Beauty Talk and more. I'm going to turn the mic right over to Ruth to kind of get us started into this next topic that we're going to talk about, because it's really important, and we were just kind of discussing it during the break.
Yes.
So let's continue that because it's important.
Yeah, one of the things that we were talking about on break is the importance of setting a positive, healthy body image. And it's interesting because so many people really do have negative self-talk, especially when it comes to their weight or the way they look or even the way they feel. And after a while, you know, all those no's and the negativity gets cemented into the mind and the brain. And especially when you have kids, they're very influenced by the parents, you know, so you want to be able to promote a really healthy body image and a healthy just mindset in general, one that's very positive and joyful. Yes. So what are some of your thoughts on that?
Well, one of the things I like to do and encourage parents to do is to really join their kids in what their kids are doing. And spending so much time outside is just key, and it's really healthy to whether you're enjoying the beach or your backyard. Being outside and playing with your kids. Now, so many times parents are like, no, you go ahead and play, or no, you go ahead and do this. But joining in with them gets you up and alive and invigorated and really can help feed you for the next time after that. And it also stimulates your relationship, and it also stimulates how athletic or not athletic you are, but it will feed that then into a positive way that, oh, I wasn't able to run with my kid today, but I was able to walk with them. And so your self-talk there can really take you in the right direction for the next time, or keep you sitting back. No, you go ahead and play. No, you go ahead and play the next time. So self-talk, in addition to spending time and joining your kids where they are, really are so two different key components, but are so very important.
Yeah, I think the movement piece is especially important. And I know one of the things that we want to talk about is incorporating family walks.
That's my life.
Yeah, and about how important it is. I mean, it's just like that family time together. And then also to be able to get that movement in. And I find that a lot of times when we're moving together, whether it be just playing around, horsing around in the backyard, or taking the walks around the block, or new neighborhoods, like you were talking about earlier, Melody, then we can have even more open and honest conversations too, because we're not sitting down staring each other in the eye and saying, okay, what did you do today? You know, rather it's moving. You can look around. Things are more free flowing.
And I know that when you start getting into the school schedule and you start getting into after school activities, and I know when you're coming home from work and you have that small window of time where you have to get dinner, bath, and bed and homework done during that time period, the idea of taking a walk with your family is nowhere in your realm of thinking for most parents. So again, you start small. Hey, let's just go up to the corner. Let's just get outside together. I saw something on that tree over there when I was pulling in. I wasn't quite sure what it is. Let's go check it out. You can start small, and you can even start with that one time a week. And then from there, that will stimulate your kids in order to say, hey, let's go outside again, you know, and then that's where you can say, that sounds perfect. Wednesday night we can't do it because we do have this and this, but Thursday night, let's put it on the calendar.
Okay, I have a solution. Get a dog. Then you have to go outside.
That's like another child.
Yes.
But that will get you up and out to walk.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
You have animals.
I have animals. I have a dog as well as my 11-month-old, and we go out for walks 4 times a day because we're in a condo. So it just promotes us getting out there and outside.
So
and
yes,
fresh air.
And there are lots of animals that need good homes. So if you feel, because this is a good time of year to adopt an animal into your family. If it fits your budget, you have to know.
And your lifestyle.
And your family.
We have a cat, so we have gone the other direction, and
Yeah.
They're pretty self-sufficient, but a definite added blessing to the family.
I did have a cat that kind of walked in on New Year's Eve, and she wanted to go out for walks, so I used to have to take her out on a leash once a day for a walk.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
She caused so much commotion
Yeah.
Oh, this is a funny story. I'll tell it really. One time I was walking her, I don't know, it was early afternoon, and I live in West Hollywood, and all of a sudden this policeman stopped and came walking towards me, and I was walking Eve, and I was so nervous. Oh my God, is he going to give me a ticket for walking my cat? And he came over and he goes, I had to see this. He goes, I have never seen anybody walking a cat.
That is so funny. That's so funny.
We've taken our cat a couple times recently to the park just to hang out with us. And yes, it has drawn some attention. So I'm right with you.
I'm not even going to ask how that is because I can't even imagine. I have a cat too. And she would be out of there in 5 minutes.
Yeah,
less than 5 seconds.
You definitely have to keep your on your guard because one lickety split and they're like in the bushes.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that would keep the kids moving and keep you moving too.
Okay, when you go to the park, what do you guys do?
Well, every day is different. We already have staple stuff in our trunk of our car because my boy, as I mentioned before, is really active. And
I see him out the window. Yeah. He's very active.
He likes soccer and football, and we have beach things in the car. We have a scooter and a skateboard. So we have some staples already.
Do you have a big car?
No, it's just like a regular car with a trunk. But that's like my little garage for like on-the-go boys. And so, every time at the park might be different. We might go just to hang out, which we've done recently, or to specifically go to play soccer, or to specifically go and meet up with a play date with some other friends. Or we know that there's going to be a group playing there for him to join in, to be able to join whatever they have going on. So every time is different.
So that brings up actually something very interesting because now that we're transitioning out of summer back into the scheduling of the school year, those playtimes really transition too. So how do you kind of make that adjustment in saying, okay, we've had a lot of fun this summer, gotten to see our friends a lot in this context. Now how do we do that, over the course of the school year?
Well, you have to let them know in advance, hey, the school year is coming. And so you don't just tell them 3 days or talk about it 3 days before. You let them know 3 weeks before, 2 weeks before, hey, summer's kind of winding down. What have you enjoyed doing this summer? How's it gone for you? School's coming up in a couple weeks. School's coming up in a week. School's coming up in 3 days. And to repetitively have the conversation that, hey, the schedule is going to be changing a little bit. What are you looking forward to? What are you not so looking forward to? And so you have to transition them with repetition and consistency so that they're prepared. And that comes with a communication and a lot of conversations.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And then as far as transitioning into all the activities too, how do you know when a child is, overstimulated or understimulated when it comes to the after school activities and trying to find that balance? Because that's really healthy. That involves a whole family's health,
right.
At that point.
And, so many families have multiple children. And so when you're talking about multiple children, you're talking about multiple activities. And that is where the mom is getting so frazzled because they're going here and there and everywhere, getting these kids to these activities. In our family, we have 1 or 2 after-school activities per season, and then that's it. Because I know my limit. I know what I'm able to do with him and provide for him, and I know when too much is too much. You need downtime to just play at home. You need time to do your homework, and you need time to be able to have those activities too. So a nice, healthy balance with all of that. So many parents are just taking advantage of every activity that's out there under the sun, and it's okay if your daughter is not a ballerina and your kid is not a soccer star. It really is okay to say no to some of these activities.
Won't the kids kind of tell you that they don't like it? Or
every kid is different, but there's certainly some kids who will go with the flow and go with that kind of program, and some kids who are kind of fighting and complaining and you haven't gotten the hint yet that your kid really doesn't want to do it, or your kid is out there picking daisies in the field playing baseball. Your kids certainly will let you know what's working for them, what's not working for them through their actions, their attitudes, their words, but not every parent is listening, or not every parent is respecting what the kid is saying. So that goes into other relationship dynamics as well.
So I find that because like so many parents do plug their kids into everything, every which way, you know, every activity under the sun. And then that's when health really starts to become a less of a priority and take that back seat. Right. So I really try to focus with the families that I work with on being proactive when it comes to their health and trying to manage that in a way and saying, hey, okay, this is great that you're doing all these activities, but you know, shouldn't health be a higher priority? You know, what's going to get you through all those activities? Right. You know, if you're ill, if your immune system goes down, then you can forget about going to baseball, soccer, you know, jazz, whatever it may be. And wouldn't it be better to feel great and be able to be at your best when you go out and do these different things?
Right. And that's where the parent as the lead and as the director really needs to set that standard and really be able to supply what it is the kids are going to be eating.
Yeah, because it gets very overwhelming and for everyone in those particular situations. So one of the things that I suggest is always trying to do and cook multiple meals on a Sunday, you know, or on the weekend in order to prepare for the week and make sure that they're healthy and that the family can get in as many nutrients
I do that
as possible.
just for me.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot of the stress off of, hey, what are we going to eat tonight, you know, or what's for lunch the next day. Right. How do you help parents to kind of maybe fit that type of thing into or answer those types of questions? Do they come up?
Not so much. I tend to do more with relational issues, but even going to when you go to the grocery store, buying a couple extra things as a not as a filler in the bad sense, but knowing my kids are going to be hungry. I better grab an extra this and an extra that from your outside perimeter of the grocery store. And it might be something that's pre-packaged, like more couscous or more cut chicken or what have you. But knowing that you're going to need to have some extra along the way for those fillers. And so you have already bought your staple things and your what you need, but a couple extra things too. I found that to be really beneficial because through the course of the day, you do want to have something healthy to grab rather than unhealthy to grab.
Do you cook on Sundays for your family then for the week?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Well, what are some of the things like you'll cook?
You know, I love making like a 3-bean chili or a lasagna, you know, things that a healthy, like lasagna, I should say.
You're not vegan or vegetarian?
No, I'm not. I'm an everything in. You know, I don't exclude any foods because I don't think that that's very beneficial for me and my family at this point.
I think all that's made is good.
Yeah, exactly.
That's natural.
Yeah.
Man-made stuff, I get it, but all that's made is good.
Yeah. We really try to stay away from processed foods as much as possible, and I mean, yes. So soups, stews, chilies, things that can be easily frozen are wonderful to have just as serving sizes in your freezer to be able to plop out, heat up, and go. So, and then I laugh because there's always hummus in my refrigerator.
Yo, love it.
Do you make your hummus or do you? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, hummus is so incredibly easy to make.
That's what everybody says. I haven't made it yet.
Yeah. Super, super easy. Lots of great recipes out there too if you want to jazz it up with roasted bell peppers or pine nuts or whatever the case may be. And then I end up making my own nut milks and just nut butters too, and just have that all on hand, and away we go. So that's our plan. The other thing I like to suggest is always having cut up vegetables. So if you are going to farmer's market or you're going to the grocery store, when you get home, doing all the prep work right then and there. And I think that's a really good way to be able to get kids involved too.
Absolutely.
To be able to, if they're old enough, chop the vegetables with, the knives, or even just taking, celery off the stalk to help you prepare it. Putting in cups of, however you can get them involved in the kitchen is going to really help with their health and their love of food.
And especially if they learn early,
yes,
they'll tend to gravitate towards healthier foods. They'll know the difference.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and just not being afraid of being in the kitchen. You know, right now, I know parents who kind of keep their kitchen off limits for kids because they see so many potential hazards and problem areas. You know, we did child-proof our kitchen, but what we ended up doing was leaving several cabinets open that we knew were going to be safe, so he can climb in, pull out things like spatulas and measuring cups, and just make a big old mess on the floor of all this stuff that's fun for him to feel and grab and look at and be a part of the process, even though he may not actually be doing the cooking himself.
Someday.
Someday soon. Someday
He's got to
soon.
walk first.
Yeah, that's coming. That's coming.
Now, do you bring your son in the kitchen with you a lot?
Absolutely, yes. Because there's so much detail that needs to be put into in making a meal, and having an extra hand is really helpful. And I'm also thinking long term. I'm thinking this is going to be a man who I want to be part of making meals for his family, and it's got to start at home now in order for him to get there. Plus, he loves the cooking channel. And so instead of, some of the other options that are available on TV, sometimes putting on the cooking channel also inspires him to want to try to be creative or have an idea of something to cook in the kitchen.
That's so interesting. You just brought up a memory of mine. I just vividly, I had a cookbook that was full of kids cooking in the kitchen, and they was, Alex's recipe for this and that, and a teddy bear bread, and that was my favorite cookbook when I was really little, and I'm like, I wanted to be those kids in that book, those chefs. So
interesting how soon and early it starts.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah, it is very
and the direction
interesting.
it's gone for you.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
so cool.
Yeah, it stems that passion for learning and for food.
Absolutely. And who doesn't want a man in the kitchen? Whether it's on the grill even, who cares? But it's always a nice added benefit. So I'm certainly
so that
thinking
you don't have to cook
for
every night.
Right.
It's nice to share it.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, it's good bonding time too.
Yes, and it's also instilling responsibility of the home in him too. That if you want a meal, you can certainly contribute, and here's how to be able to contribute instead of going into your room and playing or going to the video game. You can cut up, you can get out, you can prepare this. I certainly could use your help. Come on in, let's do it.
Oh, I never really thought about that, but that's a really good idea. I remember, baking cookies, but now there's a whole lot more kids can do in the kitchen than just bake cookies.
Yeah, my boy is definitely the brownie maker. He certainly loves doing that. I think that it's really key to have your kids help you in all areas of the home and the family. So not just, taking out the trash and preparing food, but those also extend to other areas around the home and being respectful of the home that they're living in.
Like help with the dishes and just pick up. And
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's good to start young.
Yes.
Yeah. So, one of the things I think too is important, to bring in dad too into the equation and to really work together. And so one of the things I think that I look at my corporate side of my business when we go in and do workshops and teach parents in the workplace about nutrition is, how do you make healthy lunches? And I find that a lot of times the healthy lunches that you can make for your child also can be fun for the parents as well. So I think it's interesting. They have so many great those bento boxes these days with the little compartments, within them for different things. I like to actually make them little construction kits. So in one section might be little pieces of bread, in another section it might be some egg salad, another section it might be some lettuce, and allow the child to be able to build their own little sandwich at school, or allow dad or mom to actually build their own little lunch at work too. It kind of inspires and pulls in that creativity into the day, and then also gives you a little bit more appreciation for the food at hand. Instead of just opening up a lunch sack and gobbling it up, you're actually having to think about what you're doing before you put it in your mouth. So I like to try to figure out ways to make it fun too.
Absolutely, because Dad's a big part of the equation, and he certainly needs to be eating healthy in the workplace too, in addition to what's going on at home or with the kids.
Well, if you're going to make lunches for your kids, you may as well make lunches for you. I mean, it doesn't take that much longer.
Absolutely.
And then everybody's eating healthy.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Well, and that's one of the great benefits about cooking a big dinner, the night before, is being able to have those leftovers potentially for lunch the next day. Melody, you mentioned, I think when we were just talking briefly, that in preschool you're able to heat up your son's lunch. So it was perfect for those leftovers from dinner the night before.
Absolutely.
And parents typically have the ability to, heat up their food at work too. And so using those resources to your advantage and saying, okay, well, cook once, eat 2 or 3 times. Let's, all have this as a family together. It's a good way to be proactive and eat something more and stress less in the kitchen.
Because when you cook your own meals, you know what's in it.
Yes.
And that's so important to me, to know what I'm eating and how much salt or sugar, what additives, what's in it.
Yeah.
Because there's so much hidden things in store-bought food.
So much. I mean, you hit right on the mark when you said sodium. I'd actually brought some sodium, like my little cheat sheet on how much sodium is in things, but it's crazy. And the American Heart Association actually recommends that you decrease the amount of sodium, or you have is between like 1,300 and 1,500 milligrams a day. And you look at some of the sandwiches that are out there, and they have 1,000 milligrams of sodium in them. So one sandwich is basically your entire intake.
You got one of the most hidden. And everybody thinks it's so healthy is turkey.
Yeah.
But turkey has huge amounts of sodium in it.
Huge.
You gotta, when you go and have a sandwich made, ask for the low sodium in whatever you can get, because it has so much for you and your family.
Yeah. Well, and the other piece of that too is, rice bowls. Rice bowls are really popular with different teriyaki sauces, and one teaspoon of soy sauce, is between 260 and 350 milligrams of sodium. It's 1 teaspoon.
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching my sodium for years.
Yeah. Turkey deli meat, like you just mentioned, 450 to 1,000 milligrams.
Huge.
3 ounces.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah. So definitely something to consider when you're packing your kids' lunch too, And sodium and sugar are both known to increase anxiety. So do you want to have that for your child, or, any adult taking their lunch to work, to have that anxiety from the food that they get on top of the stress of school, or on top of the stress of work that's already
interesting there. I didn't know that. And that's where your education really comes in play, and on times like this.
Yeah, so, I mean, I always feel like the more that you can minimize, not cut out completely, but
can't cut it out.
No, and our body needs sodium. Our body also needs sugar to an extent, but just putting it in their rightful place and knowing how it can affect us on both a physical and an emotional level.
That's why eating, having raw nuts, unsalted, or raw, apples or pears or oranges, they don't have sodium in them. So you can substitute those for a bag of potato chips or some type of crunchy.
Yeah.
But you have to have crunchy. You can't totally cut out crunchy.
Well, it's so interesting. I actually just read some statistic that said the manufacturers actually know exactly what level of crunch that everyone really wants to have in order to buy it and maximize their profits.
Yeah,
so
I've read that too in several articles.
It's a whole marketing
It's
scheme.
Definitely a huge marketing scheme.
Yeah.
All right, that's our break music. So we still got a lot to talk about. We're still going to talk about healthy lunches, healthy dinner, healthy kids, healthy parents. So stay tuned, everybody. Ruth, Melody, and I will be right back. This is Alayna's Beauty Talk and more on LA Talk Live. We're more than just talk.
Don't wanna
We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Xavier Tees and Tots, groundbreaking fashion, forward street smart designs. Tees and Tots for men, women, and boys. Visit XavierUSA.com. Once again, that's XavierUSA.com. Hubert's Lemonade, tasty, refreshing, sweet, and tart. Happiness in a bottle. Visit Hubert's Lemonade at Hubert'sLemonade.com. Once again, that's Hubert'sLemonade.com. Happiness in a bottle.
Young Connection, your one-stop connection for all your graphic design and commercial printing needs. Young Connection is a full-service printing and media design company dedicated to providing the highest level of customer service and satisfaction. Young Connection provides swift response and rapid turnaround services for banners, brochures, business cards, flyers, logo design, posters, and much, much more, all at an affordable price. Young Connection, the official printing company of LA Talk Live. Give them a call at 310-491-3336. That's 310-491-3336, or visit their website at www.youngconnection.com. That's www.youngconnection.com. Young Connection Printing and Media Services, proud sponsors of LA Talk Live, where it's more than just talk.
Hi, this is Sequoia Neff.
And this is Jay Rios.
And I'm Sherrod Moore.
Inviting you to join us every Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for Battle of the Sexes as we discuss his and her views on topics no one wants to touch.
Where we keep it 100% real.
And interesting.
And it is pure comedy.
So don't forget to tune in to Battle of the Sexes Mondays at 7 p.m.
Exclusively on LATalkLive.com and the Talk Live Broadcast Network. You can also catch us on iTunes, Radio R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, and AHA Radio.
Or watch and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening and viewing pleasure.
This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hi, this is Starlet Quarles, and I'm inviting you to join us every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. for a new show right here on LA Talk Live, The Dialogue, Real Talk, Real People. Join us as we discuss the topics that are relevant to today's generational leaders. So don't forget to tune in to The Dialogue, Real Talk, Real People, every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. right here on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, and now Stitcher Radio. Or watch and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Welcome back to Alayna's Beauty Talk and more. Okay, Ruth. Yeah. Since Richard got us all kind of moving to this music, I mean, that's another thing you guys can do at home is dance, you know?
Just we have a dance party at 4 o'clock every day.
Yeah, dance is so good for you. Just, you know, just jump and dance and
hold each other and smile and laugh and giggle.
Kick your feet and, you know, just
be silly.
Just be silly. Just let go. Let the stress. It's such a great way to let stress out of your body.
Such a great way.
And laughing and dancing with it's just so healthy.
It is so healthy, and it's so nice to get yourself out of your body, you know, that's been all tense and tight all day. And
you know, especially moms and dads, if you're sitting in front of a computer all day, you need to move.
You do need to move.
You know, your face gets all stony from staring at that screen, and you come home kind of with you know, like, you know, you look like a zombie walking in the house. And turn on some music and let it go. Get all that stress out of your body.
Yeah, that's really interesting that you say that, because I mean, I think one of the biggest things, and you could even do this during the day when you find yourself all tensed up, you know, you want to be able to change the state, your physical state, the way that you are. So by getting up and even just stretching or moving, or, you know, tapping your feet, even if you can't get up from a meeting, anything you can do to create that new energy. I did a very interesting, or I've been doing a very interesting kind of exercise with some of my clients where I have them say the word no repeatedly for 10 times. So it's like no, 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 no. And when you really start getting into that, you know, that 8th, 9th, 10th time, you start to feel it in your body, and your body curls.
Parents are saying that all day long.
Right?
They really are.
Yeah.
And that's where I didn't mean to interrupt
No,
you,
you're
but
supposed to.
That's where I always tell parents there's a yes, for every there's a yes. Okay, for example, you don't want your kid to, you know, touch this piece of fruit. Yes, you can touch the green one, not the yellow one. Yes, you can touch the other 5, not that one.
Yes.
So you direct them with a yes. There's always a yes.
Yes.
For
Sorry, I keep saying yes.
So there's
It's addictive.
there's always that glass half full.
Yeah.
And it really just changes the dynamic of how you are presenting and how it is received.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
who wants to hear no? How about yes, you can do that or that?
Well, and you physically feel the difference in your body. You know, your body opens up. You're saying yes to possibility, you know, and so when you're open, you can receive so much more positive energy in too, and can see things in a different light and be more receptive to what's really going on. So yeah, I love that. I love the yes, positive, you know, connotation and direction. That's
and it
fantastic.
really takes a lot of change in your self-talk, because you have to conscientiously know that you're saying no all the time. And then you need to catch yourself and think, wait a minute, is it so important that I say no to this? Because I've caught myself plenty of times, even when my boy was from 1 to 3. Why am I saying no? There's a yes here, and this is what it is. Say that instead. But in your self-talk, you really have to catch yourself and change that. Oh, wait a minute. I did say no. Let me think about that a further minute. You know, actually, yes, you can, and this is what it is. So it really takes a lot of change in your...
It's a practice.
Mm-hmm.
It's a practice,
It
the way
really
that you
is.
talk to yourself, and changing how that self-talk, you know, because
And it never ends. No matter
it
how
never
old
ends.
you are or how young you are, it never...
Absolutely.
You
Yeah.
have to keep practicing.
Yes.
It is.
It
Life is a
doesn't-
practice.
It doesn't go away.
Yeah.
And actually, sometimes as you get older, it's even harder.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you get stuck in your ways.
Yeah, I see that. I see people shut down, and they keep saying no and no and no. And what happens when you age? You start like caving in.
Yeah.
You know, and a
And
part
that's
of that.
how I have to train my clients that are. I have to get them to open up. I mean, they're all starting to hunch over because they just they're not breathing, and they're not lifting their bodies up anymore.
And it affects your relationship between parents and children too. When children keep hearing no time and time again, you know, that really sends a specific message to your child, and it also disconnects the parent-child relationship as well.
I've also heard that the no becomes more ineffective.
Yes, absolutely, because when you really need it, it's just that wah 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 yet again.
Yeah. So just on a completely side note, when it comes to no, I've actually had to stop saying no to our dog, because I realized in front of our son that saying no to the dog might as well be saying no to him as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had to start rephrasing things for
There's
the dog.
a lot of dog whisperer stuff that can be used in parenting. It's very
interesting.
true.
You know, that was so weird, because I was thinking about that with animals, because you have to, how you talk to your animals, how you can also talk to your children in a nicer, calmer way.
Yeah. And it's all really a reflection of how you talk to yourself. Really.
I never thought about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. We have all these healthy vegetables that you brought in that have been sitting here throughout the show. I think you should talk about those before we run out of time.
Yeah. So I'll just do this quickly because I think, I've brought in food numerous times.
Every
before.
show I make her bring in food.
And I think I brought in some really great yummy stuff last time.
That they ate before the show even ended.
Oh, yeah. It was very well received. And that was fantastic. And I thought I would take a different spin today because as much as we are in transition between the summer and the school year, that summer-fall transition, it's also a transition with food. So we
what's
go
available at the market.
Exactly. So I thought I'd just bring in a small selection of things that are transitional because when you eat seasonally, then you are able to, it has a different energy to the food that you eat. If you eat a watermelon in the dead of winter, it doesn't feel the same as if you're eating it in the summertime, right? So watermelon's really meant to quench your thirst when it's really hot out. So that's why it grows in the summer. That's why you want to eat it in the summer. In the winter, there's no need for it. You don't need that extra hydration. In the fall, as we're transitioning, we have a lot of grounding foods because it is transitional period. And grounding foods that grow into the ground literally help to connect you to the earth. So the more that you can more of those foods that you can bring in, such as the carrots or the squashes, or this is a yam, but yams are sweet potatoes. These particular foods can really help to keep the anxiety levels down, keep the stress levels down, whether you're a child or as an adult. So some of my favorite foods definitely to incorporate. I don't know many kids who don't like sweet potatoes or yams.
My boy.
He doesn't.
That's the one thing he doesn't like.
He doesn't like it? Well, it's a good thing there are many other things out there.
Absolutely.
But you can make, baked fries out of sweet potatoes or yams as an alternative to the regular French fry for a little added health and a little bit more grounding principle. You can even, bake some or roast some vegetables, and those all really help to nourish your body and build your immune system and make you feel good throughout this fall time period.
And I never knew that carrots came in other colors besides orange. So
Me either.
Yes. So
I've seen white carrots, but I haven't seen colored carrots.
Yeah, so these are rainbow carrots, and so you have the purple and you have your traditional orange and the white, and sometimes there are green ones. And can you
steam those?
Absolutely, you can steam them. You can steam them. You can bake them. You can eat them, raw.
I find carrots are great in smoothies. They just add a nice sweetness.
They do.
Yeah. One of my favorite smoothies that's really high antioxidant and high vitamin C is actually a carrot orange smoothie and adding some flaxseed in it, and it's really amazing. Just get those vitamins in. So this is a spaghetti squash. Spaghetti squash is one of my favorite alternatives to actual spaghetti itself. So very easy. You bake it at 400 for about an hour, and it comes out. You cut it in half. You take out the seeds, and then you just start stripping the inside with a fork, and it really looks like spaghetti. And a lot of times kids love that.
Yeah,
too.
Our apples are rolling away.
Yeah, apples. Everyone knows about apples. Yeah. And then there's all these cauliflowers coming into season again. This just happens to be an orange
those
one.
taste different in colors than they do regular?
I don't find that they do.
Okay, that's why I haven't bought colored ones, because I didn't know if they tasted any different.
Well, and
they come in
different
purple
varieties.
and they come in that
green,
color,
and there's
green.
Green is actually
but
a
they still
mix.
taste like regular cauliflower.
Yeah, the green one is actually typically a mix between broccoli and cauliflower.
Okay.
Just a different variation, and that one has maybe a little bit more of a broccoli taste to it.
Okay.
But otherwise, no, not so much.
Oh, they just look prettier.
They just look pretty. You want to find food that looks pretty.
That's my big thing, is when you put it on the plate or you mix it, it should look really colorful and really pretty.
Yeah. Well, there's a whole rainbow theory in terms of your food and getting in nutrients. So every color of the rainbow if you associate it with food, actually helps different parts of the body in terms of health. So you want to get in a variety of all those different colors and throughout the day.
That's how I try and do that.
Yeah, and when I work with kids, that's one of the things we do. We have a little checklist, did you get a red in today? Did you get an orange in? And it just kind of helps them become more and more aware of getting a variety of foods into their diet.
Do you do that with your son a little bit? Talk about the colors and...
Oh, absolutely, because there's such variety in the goodness that we are provided with. So it's a great conversation.
Do you take him grocery shopping with you when
Yes.
you can?
Oh, absolutely. And I'm like, I need you to go grab this and this and this in the produce section where we are together. So I'm not sending him to a different section. We're there together while I grab this and this. And I send him to get things that I know that he'll make a good choice on. But I've also educated him, this is too squishy, or if you notice the spots on here, those are the ones to avoid. So I've educated him first before I've sent him off. But he absolutely helps with the grocery process. And of course, he wants something from the grocery store every time, too. So you have to be prepared for, what you're willing to do in terms of that as well when you're grocery shopping together.
That just reminded me of a question. What about cereals for kids?
Oh,
that's a big question mark.
Yeah.
Who wants to take that?
There's a lot of choices in cereal, but they all really have that commonality of sugar, and more sugar. My boy certainly loves cereal and loves different kinds of cereal. And I think that, as we had kind of clarified earlier today, is that it all has to be in moderation through the course of the day and the course of the week.
Yeah, certainly. And I think, ultimately as parents, you do control what is bought and brought into the house. Mm-hmm. So if you can minimize, especially when we're talking about breakfast and starting off on a good note, you really want to try not to have those high sugar cereals first thing in the morning, because then you really just increase your energy level and then burn. You crash and burn.
Okay, so say if you're going to a Trader Joe's or a Whole Foods, are those cereals healthier?
You have to read labels.
That's
Absolutely. So, personally speaking, I always recommend looking for cereals that are 10 grams of sugar or less, which isn't that easy to do, but there are actually some good ones out there. So just at Trader Joe's, at wherever it is that you're buying,
even a regular market, wherever you shop,
try to keep it as close to that 10 grams or less mark. That's my recommendation.
That's a good one.
So,
and even for parents, even for anybody looking for a good cereal.
Yeah, and then looking at the ingredient list, making sure sugar isn't the first ingredient on that list, making sure it's actually not even in the top 5. We really want to see those whole grains be at the top of the list when it comes to.
And you have to watch your breads too.
Oh, same thing. Yep.
And muffins and all of that.
Yep. Whole grain or whole wheat doesn't necessarily mean whole grain.
Is that the same with bagels too?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my God, I went through a whole thing with bagels. Bagels are not very healthy.
No.
It took me years, and I always kept a dozen bagels in my freezer.
Yeah. And now they're a special treat.
Now they're a very special treat. I had no idea that they were so unhealthy.
Yeah, they're really high in sodium.
I had no idea. Mm-hmm. I mean, for years I would have something on a bagel for lunch.
Yeah.
People used to laugh at me. What kind of bagel did you bring today? I had no idea.
Yeah, and it's interesting. There was a research or a report that came out probably about 7-8 months ago that said a lot of the processed breads that you buy at or you get at different fast food chains or whatever actually contain a preservative in it that's the same that's in yoga mats and in tires.
I read that article.
Yeah. So you really have to be cognizant of what you're putting into your body.
Yeah, do some research.
Yes.
If you got a little extra time and you're just poking around on the computer and, something just doesn't seem right in the food that you've been serving, do some research.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good research out there now that was not available years ago.
Yeah.
And a lot of great books. I mean, with all the e-readers and everything, there's no reason that you can't do great research. That takes very little bit of time to keep you and your family healthy.
Yes. That is absolutely, absolutely true. The journey starts with you. And so by taking that first step and reading an article, you are absolutely influencing the direction of your own health and that of your family.
I mean, just Google it, I mean, if you wanted to know about bagels or how much sodium is in this bread or how much sodium or, what is the best choice in process, is there a good processed turkey I can buy? Or there's just so much available now that just wasn't available. You can make much better choices if you do some research.
Yeah.
And it'll save you a lot in doctor bills. If you keep your family healthy from the inside out.
Yes.
With colds and flus, their immune system's going to be healthier.
Yep. And that starts now. Now is the time, because as everyone goes back to school, the germs become aplenty. So you want to have a bulked up immune system to be able to fight that stuff off. And it's not about being perfect. It's not about...
Can't be perfect.
No. And it's not about never catching a cold or never catching the flu, because that's really hard to do as a parent and as a student. So it's about minimizing it. The effects of the potential illness and minimizing the duration. So, when you start noticing that colds that used to be 2 weeks out, you're out for 2 weeks, you're down to 2 days, you're on the right track.
Yeah, and it's really important to start now.
Yeah.
Before, the summer you're pretty healthy, but keep it up.
Yeah.
Really, with Halloween and the holidays, pick and choose your junk food time.
Yes.
You gotta have it.
Oh, and conveniently get rid of a lot of that junk food candy that comes at Halloween time, like right away.
Yeah.
FYI.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to have it, otherwise you're gonna just binge.
So it's about living life.
You have to enjoy it.
Yeah. And, one of the things, what resists persists, right? So if you completely resist all of the junk food that's out there, the more that you're going to want it. So by having just a little bit now and again, it satisfies that need and that temptation.
Yeah, and
if
you
don't
can
binge.
Teach your kid, usually all you want is like a couple bites. Or, you don't even really need to eat the whole thing. So it's usually you just want that taste.
Yeah.
And then you eat it because it's there.
Yeah. 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 Very true.
Do you kind of portion your food out for your kids or for yourself?
Yeah, for myself, absolutely. I think it's important to say, here's a reasonable portion. Let me eat this first. And then to be able to say, if I want more, I know there's more and I can go back and get more. But let me see how full I feel after I have this smaller amount now.
Do kids know when they're full? Does your son know when he's full?
Yes. And he has 3 stomachs, by the way.
Front, middle, and side.
Yes. Yes. And we also have to remember as parents that our kids, like us, want to eat different amounts at each meal. So every day is not the same. And so just because you're getting them that portioned amount on Monday, on Tuesday, they might be having a growth spurt and they might be needing twice as much.
Yeah.
Or the following week, they might be eating really nil. So you just have to remember that just as your fluctuation in the course of your diet through the course of each day and each week, your kids are the same. In that way. And a lot of parents don't understand that when they're trying to force their kids to finish everything that's on the plate. Or, I can't believe you didn't eat anything on the plate today.
Yeah. Well, and I think, that's so hard even when they're babies and you're just starting them on solids and you're like, oh, you want them to eat everything that's in that bowl or in that portion. But a lot of times they are not hungry. Or on the flip side, like you said, they're ravenous.
Yes.
And so just being able to pay attention to the cues and not forcing the issue on either end and being quite okay with it is sending the right positive message about food and eating.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, we're going to have to wind up the show. Okay.
Yeah.
What? This went so fast. Thank you both. All right. I'm going to go around the table. You give out your website or any contact information and your final thoughts. And then when you're finished, Melanie, you give out how people can contact you.
Great. So I'm Ruth Smith. I'm with Sage Wellness and Ruth Smith Strategies, coaching for health and life success. You can reach me by emailing me at Ruth, that's RUTH, at Sage, SAGE, Wellness, WELLNESSLA.com. And I work mainly with individuals who are looking to make healthy, sustainable lifestyle changes. So with all of this, it's really important that families feed each other, their souls, their food on their plates and their bodies right in order to make the transition back to school the most healthy they can.
Okay, Melody, your turn.
And again, I'm Melody Creighton, and I help parents multiply their joyful and loving moments together by creating more patience, cooperation, and peace at home. And I do that mainly through a premier parenting series. So it's a series of classes. It can go anywhere from 7 weeks to 7 months, just depending on what volume of time you want to spend together. And I also do inner circle home hosted groups. I certainly come to schools and churches and daycare centers and places of business as well. I certainly want to meet parents where they are, and so I am certainly available to do that. And you may reach me at M for Melody, F for favorite, MF Creighton, CREIGHTON at yahoo.com. So again, MF Creighton at yahoo.com.
Perfect. Okay, now give your final thought
on our time together today.
Anything.
Wow, how cool. I even learned some stuff beyond kale and blueberries. And I know that we're, certainly on the right track. And I think that a lot of parents and families think that they're on the right track, but education is so key. And lifelong learning, it comes in every area of our life, whether it's learning a little bit more on how to become the best parent that we can be, but also the most healthy parent that we can be. And so I certainly have gained from our time together today. So I thank you, ladies, for that. And I know that other parents and listeners have gained in knowing that there is help and support for parenting, for nutrition, for health and beauty in what we've provided today.
Thank you. All right. So I'm going to have to close out the show. So next week actually is a real beauty show. Cbelle of Cbelle Says, who's an amazing beauty blogger, will be here with our friend Naiko, who has an amazing line of skincare. So we're going to have a real lot of fun. All of Naiko's skincare is made from coffee. It's just incredible.
Wow.
She's been on the show before, and I'm so excited to have her come back. So that's what's coming up on next week's show. So everybody, get outside with your family, take a walk. It doesn't have to be long. Just spend some time together. Or just turn on some music and dance. I mean, just have fun and enjoy your family. And I just want to say, coming up next is the Indian Tyler show at 2 o'clock. She always has amazing guests and has a lot of fun. So stay tuned right here to LA Talk Live for the Indian Tyler show. And I will be back next Wednesday at noon Pacific time. Say bye, everybody.
Bye.
We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
You graced the cover of a magazine, but you declined the opportunity. Cause you're so different, the way you living is paving a new way. Cause there's no doubting, I'm all about it. No more searching, love, I found it. Ended up with my heart and soul. About time that you know. If you just believe and see like I see, you'll know that the world is yours to own. Just follow my lead beyond material things. It's time to let you about to lose weight. I'm about to spend it on you. We be walking around the mall with 2 shakes. She like my style, my swag, and my similes. Let's just keep on kissing, never stop like infinity.